Hello, and welcome to With Mavens. I'm your host, Nemo,
And I'm Roman.
and today we are going to talk about something. Well, we have been meaning to talk about it since it ended, but now we are getting to it finally.
We have scheduling issues.
Yes, so we are going to talk about Percy Jackson Season 2, which.
Which, first 5 episodes, really good adaptation.
Yeah, I mean, we
After
did.
3 episodes, shit
We,
show.
we were very optimistic when we published last video about Percy Jackson Season 2.
Yeah. And I think I mentioned to you after episode 5, like, this show can only go down, and that is a really bad sign.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's exactly what happened. My enthusiasm for the episodes took a nosedive after each and every episode.
Yeah, this screams we used all the budget in the first 5 episodes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is weird because I don't believe they filmed it in chronological order.
Yeah, fair, but
because we noticed from what Mike Schubert said about when he and some of the podcasters visited the set, they were filming episode 1/2 stuff in January. So they were definitely not filming in order.
Yeah, definitely so.
Which is an interesting choice in a TV show with mainly children as actors.
Anyway, let's get to it. Begin with episode 1. I played dodgeball with cannibals, which is, it's pretty much exactly what happens.
Yeah, it's a clean adaptation of the first few chapters in that you can't do everything, and combining the Lystragonian attack on the gym and then with the retreat to camp, removing the bulls, is just a smart CGI budget decision.
Yeah, definitely so.
And it's a thing of we don't need 2 attacks in the same episode.
Yeah.
However, this is something I do feel. It does feel very obvious that the 2 monsters that have been removed from this one are the bulls and the Hydra, which coincidentally, the Hydra was in the first film and the bulls are in the second film.
Yeah, I think they're trying to veer away from the images.
Yes, they're going. Same as I do believe George and Martha make an appearance in the film. can't remember if they talk or not, but Hermes has his staff and they are absolutely moving snakes there. Like, why that's the one good adaptation the films did.
Yeah, George and Martha, well, them not being in the show is a tragedy.
It's a weird thing considering the humor is back into the show. And then you remove what is one of the funniest parts.
Yeah, very much. But yeah, so the first thing that happens in this episode is Grover being taken by that weird tentacle. And we had never explained what the tentacle is.
No, I thought it was going to be like he was working with Scylla and Charybdis.
Yeah, pretty much exactly
considering what we later learned about Polyphemus would have made sense.
Yeah. So the fact that it never showed up again, I don't know, it rubs me the wrong way. Because it's change for change's sake. Like, I have no problem with the vast majority of the changes that they've made from the book to the show. But when you make a change that's there, that doesn't motivate anything, that doesn't add anything, that's where that's where at least that's where my grievances with the show come about. Is when the changes don't add anything.
Yeah, that's also like. But Allison adds things.
Allison adds things, absolutely.
Allison adds things, but the rest of the demigods in Luke's army don't.
I mean, they are there.
They are supposedly trained warriors who have trained for the last year to fight other demigods, and they get beaten by a bunch of kids in badly worn armor, horrifying battle skills, and they still get beaten.
Having Lystragonians on your side, that is.
Yes. The Lystragonians, who are really weak compared to their original version.
Yeah.
Like, they were defeated by 2 of the best demigods and a Cyclops originally.
Yeah.
These are, we put humans in tall suits.
Yeah. I mean, they had one monster, really. They could have done them justice.
That's the thing. The battle takes place inside the barrier.
That is true.
So the Lystragonians are useless because only one gets through.
Yeah. And we'll get to the battle eventually, but Sally knowing Grover is another change that I really like. That she knows about Grover from the beginning. So
Well, yeah, about that she knows he's missing or something. Yeah.
yeah, the fact that she sees like Grover, she sees through the mist and knows that
Yeah,
Grover
no,
is a Cyclops.
yeah, but that's the last book. That's the last series. She knew Grover was a Satan. She
Oh,
knew it in episode one of the first season.
Tyson.
Tyson, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I am stupid.
I
But
also
yeah,
like how they removed the "we left Tyson in this to live on the street" section.
yeah, pretty much. That's good. I mean,
That does show a change in the time, but it's also just good because
mhm.
it makes us see Sally as a very caring mother,
Yeah,
and she outright does say later on that Tyson is her son.
yeah. We talked about like even I think from the previous season that how they are making Sally more lovable than the book, and she is already very lovable in the books.
She's already extremely lovable.
Yeah,
It's
and they
and a little bit more depth.
they're adding quite a bit of depth to Sally. Anyway, so that's
Also just making it that people who can see through the mist are also somewhat able to get like something similar to demigod dreams helps a lot with May and Rachel later on.
yeah, definitely.
Which,
So
by the way, you forgot to add the spoiler tag at the beginning.
anyway,
And we spoil all
there are
5
gonna be
original
spoilers
books.
for all the 5 books. Yeah. If you come into this,
You can grab it from the first Percy Jackson thing we did.
No, I'll it's okay. I'll put it something. But yeah, another major thing that happens in this episode is Annabeth sees Luke poison Thalia's tree, which we don't get to see in the books. So it's very good that
It is good up until the point that Annabeth knows exactly what type of poison was used.
it's Annabeth. I think that
No, I do
excused.
not. I will not accept that she knows elder python venom.
Just by looking, maybe not, but
Is the thing, but that was what we needed Chiron for, and that's why we get into one of my main gripes. Is Chiron just isn't there.
yeah, he's not.
Chiron
there,
is
so.
already gone, and it does remove the emotional punch of Chiron leaving.
Yeah, we are
It showed
immediately
how
introduced to.
that would have worked perfectly with what they do with Annabeth later, which is that Annabeth doesn't know how to be a normal kid. She only knows how to be a demigod. That's amplified by the fact that she sees Chiron as a father figure.
Yeah, she spends.
But they don't lean into that.
Yeah, she spends all her time.
And the way that they've done most of Chiron's scenes feels like the actor was unavailable.
That seems like the case because they barely show him in like in.
They don't we don't see him in episode 2 because he's clearly on a different set. And they don't show him on his horse body either, and I'll get to that something about that later. And when we get the flashback to Thalia and everything, whenever Chiron is in shot, he tends to not be in shot with anybody else.
Yeah, that is.
He's shot from behind or with a blur. And there was a fun thing in the podcast they added for this season. They had the fun things for Instagram and shorts and all that.
Yeah.
And they had one thing where the Chiron actor was on the blackjack horse.
That's funny, but yeah.
And that's an odd choice. When he's supposed to have it, they might just not have been able to get that horse.
That makes sense. That they might not be able to get the original body back, so possibly.
Which makes it a bit awkward because it shouldn't take that much work, considering they add a CGI broken leg anyway.
But yeah.
But so, yeah, the gut punch of Chiron leaving is missing.
Yeah. They have added quite a bit of emotional moments, but it's all between Percy and Annabeth. The only other moment that we get.
They've added a bunch of emotional moments, but they've removed one of the core emotional moments of the book.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't want to blame people, but they are a bit too Percival focused. The writer room, at least.
Yeah, I think that's a bit of the fact that a lot of the writers do seem to be fans of the books. That's good in that they should be able to make a good adaptation, but they clearly missed some of the messages.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's basically the first episode.
No. Tantalus is amazing.
Tantalus is amazing. Yeah.
No notes.
No notes. Yeah. But
even how he ends it, I miss the original way it was shown because it showed the betrayal of Luke to all the campers. But we see that anyway with the battle, so
Yeah.
whatever. But him going out by getting a flaming fireball to the face is hilarious.
Yeah, pretty much. So
Right as he's been able to grab food. Which
Yeah.
is exactly how it happens in the book as well.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that Tantalus is amazing,
Mhm.
and I like how pompous he is.
Yeah,
He's not acting like a disheveled, weird prisoner. No, he's a threat.
Yeah, he's clearly not learned from his stint in Tartarus.
No, but he hasn't learned in the book either. It's just here he is showing that, oh yeah, this guy was a king. He's used to commanding and being obeyed.
Yeah, by the way, they mentioned King of Anatolia.
Yeah, which choice.
Yeah,
it's a thing of people might know Anatolia, they are not going to know Phrygia.
That is very fair.
Like, I can barely point out where Phrygia is in Anatolia.
That is fair.
And I've done a lot of research on this period.
Yeah.
I don't even think he's even from Phrygia. Is he Lydia? I can't even remember.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not Anatolia per se. It's a very small part of Anatolia. But yeah.
No, he is king of he's called King of Phrygia, but his city is not in Phrygia. It's one of those cases.
It's one of those mythical.
Midas is a king of Phrygia.
So yeah, but yeah, that's basically what happens in the first.
In episode 1, with a bit of. We effectively episode 2 leads straight into it because I think they're going to do this always. The first 2 episodes are going to be set up.
Yeah,
and they're going to be released together and are absolutely meant to be a 2-parter.
Yeah, and another thing that happens in the first episode that we get to see the like empathy link between Percy and Grover, and I was always skeptical how they're going to do it, but I think they have done it.
They've done a good job with it in that it's no longer a thing where Grover did it on purpose and violating consent. But I also like, this is a thing of I can't exactly ask for permission. I've been captured by a gigantic cyclops.
Yeah, very much. So that's exactly.
How is he supposed to ask for permission? And it's a desperation move.
Very much so. But yeah, episode 2 with the demon pigeons attack, which is
the whole thing of Chiron basically Percy shouldn't go on this quest because of the great prophecy. Annabeth coming up with the plan of the chariot race. That works.
Yeah, it works, and
the thing is, Annabeth is still hesitant about Tyson.
Yeah, but it's not to the level of the books where she was out.
No, where it was clear trauma, which the trauma has been removed.
Yeah, which also, as I mentioned in the doc that I sent you, that it allows for a more deeper connection between, like, deeper wedge between Percy and Annabeth, and they can talk about more real issues than just mistrust of Tyson, which is a non-issue in the larger scheme of things.
Yeah, but it is a bit similar how characters are not. A lot of the darker character flaws are being removed from shows. Annabeth having a trauma and therefore reacting poorly to Cyclopes is that it's not to the same horrifying extent as the Avatar The Last Airbender TV show did it. With removing Sokka's sexism and then not learning that lesson. Yeah. But it's another case of characters are supposed to have flaws.
I mean, Annabeth has flaws.
She has flaws, but her flaw was her trauma is not allowing her to trust another Cyclops. And she gets over it.
Yeah, because that
she learns not to be. She learns not to be judgmental about every Cyclops. And that's removed. I feel like you don't need to remove such things.
Yeah, fair. But also, as I said, it allows for more like real issues between Percy and Annabeth than just having.
Yeah, but that leads into your point of the writers' room is way too focused on Percabeth.
Yeah, I said that exactly at the beginning. And we'll get to it how like it just escalates after like every episode. But yeah, party ponies.
What party ponies?
We hear them. We don't see them.
We hear that Chiron is visiting kinsmen.
but we don't see them
That's it.
throughout the.
And then they don't show up at the end, and we can, despite the fact that that's that is part of the set, that's the first wave of reinforcements they're supposed to be getting in Battle of Manhattan. I doubt we're gonna get them.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get them even in the Battle of Manhattan because, again, from what I've heard,
at this rate, I'm not even expecting Hades and his skeleton army to appear.
Yeah, same.
Hades is gonna appear, and for some reason that turns the tide of battle, despite him not having his army.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the fact that Hades can't actually attack.
No, but the bigger fact is that what I was gonna say that from what I've heard, they didn't really get an increased budget for this season. No, it was the same as the first season, but they have done.
And the first season was able to use its budget better because the monsters weren't nearly as big.
Yeah.
There were not nearly as many big set pieces in that one.
Yeah, there were not as many big set pieces, and there were not really as many.
But even in the first season, you could see it with the way they did. How are we going to enter the underworld? Well,
it just
poorly.
Happens.
Yeah. We're gonna have this random giant be the guardian of the gate.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so not having that budget again gets rid of like a lot of monsters and a lot of like mythical beings that do show up in the books, which fine, not really as big of a concern,
it's
really.
Fine.
Mm-hmm.
But you can tell that a lot of the budget went into the chariots.
Yeah,
and the chariot racing because this is proper chariot racing. Mm-hmm. They had actual chariot racing. They had stunt actors. They had expert horses for this.
Yeah,
like incredible work. And I don't like the fact that there's no chariot race at the end of the season.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
That bookend needed to be there. Mm-hmm. Instead, we ended on cliffhanger.
We'll get to it.
We get cliffhanger that gets resolved 6 months later.
Yeah, we'll get to it. That is another big issue in this season as well, and that we'll get to at the end. But another thing that this second episode does is establishes Chris and Clarice, which
was fun. It showed that these are teens. They ruin it in episode 8, but.
Yeah, another thing that I think what the writer room is very attached to is Selena Beauregard and Clarice. So
I would say so, but you'd think they would introduce Selena then this season.
Yeah, fair. So,
but we are going to start getting into the point where we are going to enter season 4 at this rate.
Mm-hmm.
Without us knowing the campus.
Yeah.
And we barely knew them in the book to begin with.
Yeah.
But we knew about Beckendorf. We knew about Selena. We knew about the stalls.
Yeah. We're gonna have we're gonna have a Michael Yu situation.
We're going to get a Lee Fletcher situation.
Lee Fletcher situation, yeah.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
At least we had most of a book to learn who Michael Yu was.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. But yeah,
we just got a mention that Lee Fletcher had died, and we're all like, "Who the fuck is Lee Fletcher?"
Pretty much. The chariot race track, as we talked about, it's a very well made set.
It's very well made. It is a little. It's small. It's on the small side, but fine.
Again, budget issues.
To be fair, it's already a pretty gigantic set.
Yeah. One thing that I think both of us noticed, and I have brought it up to you before, is the two statues.
The statues. One of which was very easy to spot. That's Helios.
Yeah.
Maybe I would say it might be Apollo, but it's probably Helios.
Probably Helios, yeah.
Because it's the sun chariot.
Yes.
If it was Apollo, the other one would have been Artemis with the sun and the moon chariots, which would have been a nice thing for next season.
Yeah, but the other chariot.
Instead, it's Medea.
Yeah,
it's the only thing I can find with a woman in a chariot with snakes.
Yeah. It's probably from the Euripides Medea when she escapes near the end.
Yeah, but also there is a what is it? Yeah, there is a type of vase that has pretty much that image. Medea in a chariot being pulled by snakes.
Yeah, I'll add that here. But
So
yes,
it's Medea.
it's Medea, which makes no sense because she has nothing to do with chariot race. Like,
No, she has the sun chariot because I think Helios is her granddad or something.
I probably, I don't know. I'll have to look that up. But yes,
Medea.
I would have expected it to be Nike because we talked about how Nike should be there because she's the goddess of victory. So it makes sense that she would be the one sort of
Yeah.
looking over the
she
races.
she's the granddaughter of Helios and the niece of Circe.
Yeah. So so yeah, fair. Again, it's the only other imagery with chariots they could find.
That's the thing. From in the books, we have the sun and the moon chariot.
Yeah, you can have.
This could have been a simple mythical depiction of Apollo and Artemis on opposite ends of the chariot track.
Yeah, or Helios.
They're the two current gods with chariots.
Yeah, or Helios and Selene. That also works. Sun and Moon. But yeah. Anyway, that's not that big of a deal. It's just funny that it's Medea instead of like any other person who has to do with chariot racing. But the funniest part of this entire season is how they drive away the Stymphalian birds.
Yeah, changing it from Dean Martin to Mariah Carey. Yeah, fitting choice.
Mariah Carey is the perfect choice for driving away Stymphalian
Also,
birds.
making it so it's not just general noise, but high pitched noise.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make sense with how Heracles originally defeated them, which was, but it is a funny addition because they get the idea from Tantalus screaming.
Mm-hmm.
That is funny.
And another fun thing that happens is Dionysus is just swatting away the birds.
Dionysus is not going to get attacked anyway.
Yeah, he's not bothered, really, which is funny to see.
Yeah, but we do get a few things because we forgot to mention like when Tyson gets claimed in episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting that to be the end of the episode, but instead we continue.
Mm-hmm.
And we jump into Dionysus laughing about it.
Yeah.
And we get jokes you would not think would be allowed in a children's TV show.
Both in the first and the second episode. Like,
yeah. Poseidon can't keep his trident in his pants. Excuse me.
What happens in Vegas is the reason for half the children in his cabin.
Yeah, it's like, okay, apparently we're getting away with these jokes now. And they're really funny because a child will not actually get them.
Yeah.
But holy crap, that is for well, I'm pretty sure it's a PG show.
Yeah, I would say so. But yeah, so from there we jump to Percy sort of.
We get like Annabeth has basically like the Percy and Annabeth have a bit of a fight.
Which they also have in the books, to be fair. So
yeah,
it's just another.
Although there it's very
region.
different.
Yeah, it's just a different region for here.
Things like Clarice now being the lead of the quest and all that kind of stuff, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Annabeth sort of advising Clarice to not take Percy. So
yeah,
another pretty good
which is working with the character difficulty they're working with now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's resolved by episode 4.
Yeah. Which is basically where
to be fair, it's better than the book we're currently reading.
Yeah, at least there's something.
We haven't uploaded those episodes yet, but oh boy, I do believe plots are getting dragged out.
Yeah. Anyway.
We'll get to that eventually. We'll upload those episodes someday soon.
We finished the first book. We
finished the first book, which we finished reading 4 months ago.
Yeah, now we'll get to the second book.
5 months ago, actually.
Yeah. Anyway, so finally, Percy escapes, trying to do the quest on his own, trying to find Grover, and that's where he meets Hermes, who doesn't have
who does not have his staff, which means no George and Martha.
No George and Martha, no.
And it feels weird for bringing back all the comedy, amplifying it with actually funny jokes, and then not having 2 of the funniest characters.
Yeah. I mean, it is like animating talking snakes is a bit of an issue.
Maybe, but that this show does seem to be avoiding the talking animals thing, which is the same thing with how when we meet Blackjack, don't see Blackjack talking, and I don't like it.
No, Blackjack doesn't really.
A lot of the humor, especially at the beginning of book 3, is Percy's interactions with Blackjack. Because the beginning of that book is already pretty dark.
Yeah.
So the humor is necessary, but just having Percy reacting, it doesn't work.
Yeah. They could have gotten someone to voice Blackjack, but I don't know why they didn't.
I mean, Jack Black? He'd probably do it!
Best choice, actually, but yeah. Anyway, so Hermes tells Percy to sort of try to bring Luke back, basically.
Yeah, and here we see another failure of setup and no payoff. Where's Hermes at the end?
He's exactly what Luke tells.
Yeah, but but that's the thing. Hermes is desperate to save Luke, and we don't yet know why. But we don't see the conversation with Hermes continues at the end of the book. It concludes the book, practically. We don't see it. Instead, we have a poorly written version of a Poseidon conversation that never happened in the books.
Yeah, it's
with one hell of a glaring issue we'll get to.
Anyway, so
let's move to episode 3.
Another note before we move to episode 3, the ending conversation between Percy and Annabeth about Annabeth just knowing how to be a demigod and not knowing how to be a kid is pretty good. And
it's good, but it misses the punch of Chiron being a father figure.
Yeah, because we don't really see Annabeth.
They could have leaned into it with an additional hint of Annabeth being horrified that Chiron is leaving.
Yeah, it's very exposition heavy, and we don't really get to see Annabeth do that thing.
Yeah, all we needed to see was Chiron leaving, and from Chiron's last words to the demigods being to Annabeth.
Yeah.
And then turning to Annabeth, and Annabeth is crying.
Yeah, and Leah Sava Jeffries is an amazing actress, possibly the best actress.
Her facial acting is on point this season.
Possibly the best actress in the show at this point. But I'm not giving her like material to expand upon. Like I don't know. It's just
it's that they gave it material to expand on and then removed a core book interaction, which just screams to me that the actor was unavailable.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, so we talked about how Annabeth struggles between being not Annabeth. Annabeth is only a demigod, but Percy has like a foot in both worlds. He's also a demigod, but due to his mother, he's also very much human, and that duality comes back later when sort of in the form of Rachel and Annabeth. Now, obviously, we all know Annabeth is the end goal, but Percy is the best romance ever written, I would say, in a young adult series. But it highlights or it foreshadows that bit quite well, in my opinion. Anyway.
Yeah. Let's go to episode 3.
We both the Princess and Ramona.
These next 3 are the best of the show so far.
Yeah, I would say so.
There are issues, but they are not nearly as glaring.
Yeah. So episode 3 starts with...
Because despite them, all 3 of them, not being direct adaptations of word for the book.
No.
They do what an adaptation is supposed to do.
Yeah. It keeps the theme of those moments and expands upon them.
Yeah, and also working with what they've got. And that is clearly not a big enough budget.
Yeah, pretty much. Because
don't forget, the ship set seems to be about 4 rooms.
But
there is the pool set. There is the admiral's quarters set. There is the cabin and hallway set. And there is the cargo hold set.
It's fine. It's at least it shows from outside that
it's expansive. The problem is that we then see very little monsters.
We see just we don't
even
get a picture
mentions of monsters. Yeah. Well, the big thing of why Luke is not as stressed is that he's reliant on monsters. The thing that kills demigods.
Yeah, and his whole idea of that the monsters are treated just the same as demigods in on this ship. We only see Lastragonians, and we already hate
Where are
Lastragonians
the
at this
twins?
point.
Like, if you like Stragonians, well, how difficult is it to create two unique giants? That should be there.
Yeah.
They're not. They're kind of essential because it shows that how reliant Luke has become already on monsters.
Very much so. Anyway, so that happens. We see Clarice get her prophecy, and in season 1, we see Percy get the prophecy in the form of Gabe, sort of speaking it, and now we see Clarice speaking the prophecy to herself, and you can easily extrapolate from there that it's the people you hate the most.
Yeah, it's going to make it very interesting what we're going to get next season then. I mean, to be fair, I think it's going to be rather easy to guess what Zoe's going to see.
Yeah,
because it's going to be Heracles.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is that reveals her entire backstory if they do it in public.
I don't think they will do it in public. I
suspect they'll do the exact same thing as here, and she'll go up into the attic.
Yeah, pretty much.
I suspect that's going to be the thing they do now.
Yeah, they're not.
Which is probably for the best, because if the person she hates the most is absolutely Heracles.
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely not get a name drop, obviously, until very late, until like 7th
It will be obvious by the fact he's going to have a lion's head over his shoulder, or on his head.
Probably.
Which will then be identical to the lion's head we see in episode 3 when we see the Nemean lion.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult.
No, but it will be revealed when Percy and Zoe finally have a talk about
yeah, pretty much.
And Heracles, but yeah.
But yeah, this is very good character work for Clarice.
Yeah. So I love what they did with Clarice in this entire season. Possibly my favorite character in this season.
They actually gave her depth.
Yes.
Instead of giving her in book 5 the Achilles Patroclus plotline without thinking through the consequences.
Yeah. So she finally has something to at least. We see what she wants, and that she wants to be just like Annabeth, she wants to be accepted by her parent. We see what Ares does is he verbally abuses her pretty much.
Yes, but he's nowhere near as bad as in the book.
It's definitely not as bad as in the book, but yeah, it's
and also instead of indirectly giving it to Clarice, he gives it to Clarice and introduces her to the crew.
Yeah, the crew.
A crew that is so much better. A crew that has 1,000,000 times more personality in the show than it does in the book.
In the books, they don't even like they. I don't think they even have speaking lines, do they? I think they might have a couple.
They might have like we're approaching or something. That might be it. Yeah. Whereas here it's very much like we have British captain, and we have French captain, and we have Japanese officer and Russian guy, and we have guy from Blockbuster.
We have Mitch. But yeah, so that is
by the way brilliant visual gag that continues to play on of what we learned in the Grover Ares conversation last season. Ares is everything that's declared a war is a war. Therefore goes to Ares.
Yeah. Very easily. And Clarice
which means he's the god of consoles. Which, to be fair, we know he creates Twitter fights. He's probably also one of the guys who causes rage baiting and all that kind of shit.
Probably,
and rage quitting, and he's probably the god of all that now.
Probably.
Look, Percy Jackson never explains where all the modern things go with the gods. So
yeah, I think at that point he'll also be the god of memes, because
he's very no, he's not nearly clever enough.
No, but he is the one tuned in with internet more so than I think most gods.
Apollo and Hermes.
Apollo could be, yeah.
They are the jokesters of Olympus. It's going to be Apollo and Hermes.
It's going to be, yeah. Okay, that's a fair
because Hermes is the god of the internet by virtue of he created it in the books.
That is true.
And Apollo is the guy who, in the council scene in book 3, is on his phone.
Oh, is he? I don't remember that.
He's listening to music on his phone.
But yeah, it's still very funny. Yeah, the best part of this episode, in my opinion, is the fight between Allison, Percy, and Annabeth, because it clearly highlights the experiences of all three.
The fight choreography has definitely improved.
Because we see Annabeth sort of standing like her ground, holding her own against Allison, who's way
with
older
a
than
dagger, by the way.
Huh?
With a dagger.
With a dagger, yes. I mean, to be fair, Allison, I think, is also fighting with a dagger, so it's a dagger on dagger fight.
Yeah, but it makes Percy even more pathetic.
Meanwhile, Percy is being dragged on.
Yeah, it's a good way of showing that Percy hasn't been training over the last year without outright saying it like the book had to do.
Yeah,
because the book says he hasn't been training a lot, and then he loses a fight to Luke.
Yeah, and it's only when Percy sort of uses his brain and sort of trips Allison up.
Yeah, really doesn't what. Yeah, really dispels the argument that Percy's an idiot.
Yeah,
he's clever when it comes to tactics.
And yeah, that's a pretty funny scene when Allison goes tumbling into this.
Yeah, especially with which I believe they're close to the back end of the ship, and with how fast the ship is moving towards the Sea of Monsters, they should have lost her.
I mean, we do see later on that the Lestrygonian sort of rode back and got her back.
Yeah, which is quite funny, but
yeah. So anyway, so the biggest criticism of this episode, as we have both established, that this set, while being expansive, is not big.
No, and we just even a mention of the more dangerous monsters are kept more in the lower decks.
Yeah. We don't get any monsters.
Like saying we can bear the mist barely covers the Lystragonians because at least they are humanoid.
Yeah, because we have gotten rid of the people in trance. We now have actually real people on the boat, which is
which doesn't work nearly as well.
Yeah, it does.
It's an over reliance on the mist that doesn't work with what we know of the mist.
Very much so. Which is also because we know that the mist doesn't hide everything. Like when Percy and Ares are fighting in the first book, people see them fighting, even if they don't see
they see two people fighting with guns.
Yeah, and now that the Percy and Allison and Annabeth would be fighting, people would see that they are fighting, even if they don't.
Yeah, it's very empty.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to the emptiness later on as well, where it becomes way too conveniently empty. Anyway, so that's basically what happens in this episode. Another thing that we were talking about, how Allison is very crucial to the plot, and it shows up later on as well when.
Yeah, it's that she's fully bought into Kronos' stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas Luke was already in the book very obviously more hesitant by giving us a demigod god who has bought into it all.
Yeah.
It works. However, she's a daughter of Apollo. That's the perfect opportunity to introduce a son of Apollo at camp.
They haven't even introduced the major character, not major, but minor side characters.
No, we're not getting it. At this point, I don't think we're getting the stalls at all.
No.
We're not getting Katie Gardner. We're not
we
getting...
got a Katie.
At this point, it's questionable if we're getting Beckendorf.
Yeah,
because that's one thing they lost out with removing Beckendorf. Beckendorf is the one demigod who accepts Tyson straight away.
Yeah.
He's the one demigod showing Tyson kindness.
Yeah, the fact that they didn't have... It's because the episodes are so short that they can't really show a lot of things. And
they also don't want to risk casting an actor in case they lose him.
Yeah.
But it's but Beckendorf is kind of a we need to like Beckendorf for his sacrifice to be important.
Yeah.
That drives most of the plot of book 5. It's the blowing up of the Andromeda.
Yeah, that's exactly why Selena sort of breaks up with Luke.
Yeah, it's that is what causes her to break down. Now, should she have broken down earlier? Yes.
Yeah.
But it's
anyway.
They are... The fact that they are introducing characters that are not in the books, whilst ignoring the fact that we need book characters.
Yes.
We are introduced to Bronte, a daughter of Athena. Cool. Clearly only there to spell things out about Annabeth needing to make sure that Percy loses, and then to be clearly the worst daughter of Athena at strategy ever.
She's leading the archers.
The archers, when it's the Apollo kids who are the archers at camp.
Anyway,
and
we'll get to it.
There are a lot of them.
We'll get to it. But yeah, that's how the episode 3 basically ends with them escaping the boat. But
yeah, we get the stuff about the prophecy.
Yeah, we get the stuff about prophecy. Another very good conversation between Percy and
Annabeth. It works with what Annabeth knows about the prophecy, and it leads into Percy wanting to know, and then realizing I don't want to know, and that actually does lead into episode 7.
Yes, it comes back in episode 7, which is very good.
Which is good.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get to that because you and I have slightly different opinions about that scene.
Slightly, yeah. I think we'll get to it anyway. So there's
episode 4.
Yeah.
Best of the show.
Yes, I would say episode 4 is the best of the show.
For just everything with it is that Clarice has now earned the trust of her crew.
Mm-hmm.
So we get that she absolutely gets the trust of her crew, and it works.
Yeah.
Also, that she Shanty from episode 3 is hilarious and fucking fantastic.
Yeah. I think we forgot to mention in episode 3 is Tyson and his choice.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't mind it. It's just a bit of silliness.
Yeah. Anyway,
with 4, what works is that we learn the backstory. We learn what we needed to know about Thalia.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it immediately dispels everything Luke said about Thalia.
Yes. So
exactly like in the books, where it's very obvious the second we learn more about Thalia that she would never follow Luke if it meant betraying Annabeth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like even like in the previous episode, Luke says that he knew Thalia for like 2 years, and Annabeth only knew her for 2 months, and so Thalia will follow Luke.
But Thalia is super protective of Annabeth.
Exactly.
Like Thalia's very much on the edge,
but
she'll stay loyal to Olympus if it means protecting Annabeth.
But we'll get to it.
But the problems come at the end of the season.
Yes, we'll get to it. But yeah, so that entire like flashback with Thalia, Luke, and Grover and Annabeth is pretty well done. We the Cyclops, we see why Annabeth is not that afraid of Cyclops, because nothing much happens. She gets kidnapped, which is a major thing, to be fair. But they don't show.
I don't like how they've changed the way it went.
Yeah.
It's a little too actiony.
Yeah.
Thalia jumping through a window, landing in a superhero pose.
This entire season is a bit too action.
Yeah, kinda. It's good to show how Thalia interacts, but it's not a good showing of why Annabeth is the way she is.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. They had to change this entire scene up by removing the trauma.
Yes.
And that, I don't like it.
It's...
Because overcoming trauma is something that does need to be done, and it's just not done often.
No. I think it's hard to portray.
I mean,
especially with like... very
trauma and trust are, especially in this, go hand in hand. It's why I'm not confident about the Mistborn film.
Yeah, we'll talk
Good
about
luck portraying that gigantic book in a fucking film.
But yeah, speaking of trauma, I think it's because the younger Annabeth actress was so young.
You can't really do that.
It's hard.
Also, I can scream nepotism here, how it's a cousin of Leah. It's the most logical choice with how young Leah still is.
And she looks very identical.
She looks very similar, and she's a very good child actress.
Yeah, so it's fine.
This show is doing a very good job at casting child actors.
Yeah, even I don't think we see him in this season, but like the younger Percy actor is pretty.
We don't see him, I don't think. But he was also very good. Like they've done a very good job with casting. Casting is impeccable.
Yeah, casting is impeccable. That is true. Except for making Loki younger by just having a very weird haircut.
To be fair, you could that's because Luke is only supposed to be 19.
Yeah.
So he's 14, which
Mhm.
that's going to be difficult with a different actor.
Yeah. Yeah. Very much so.
Like that's the big reason why they did that. And they did a decent enough job of making him look younger by just making him look goofier.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so this episode we see like the smaller choices that Annabeth mentions, how the smaller choices compound to and lead to like bigger diversions from what you expect to happen. And that smaller choice is of Clarice in this episode. Of
Yeah.
because she's
Clarice having an actual attachment to her crew.
Mm-hmm.
It's going so far as to promise something she cannot give them.
Exactly.
It means that when she starts seeing them getting snatched off by Scylla, she turns the boat.
Yeah, and it's a very natural reaction. It's not idiotic like it's in the
thing is,
book.
her response isn't like, I'm going to stay cowering in here in the wheelhouse. No, she goes out and starts shooting.
Yeah,
with a gun.
And she says
like a proper 100. I think it's a proper 6-incher.
Probably, yeah.
That's a pretty big. The one downside, I don't think we see the big rear 50-incher fire.
No.
And like, why would you have Ares explicitly mention the gigantic turret on the back, which is wildly anachronistic, and you don't use it? On top of that, the crew inside that gun would be protected. It's a sealed turret. And it's like, come on, show it. I think Clarice would fire is a Bofors, but yeah, it doesn't matter. She fires a big gun.
She fires a big gun. She says that heroes do not hide and let others take the fall. They go out fighting, and that's exactly what she does. So
I will say this: that's a surprisingly Roman attitude. It was the Romans who had their officers fight in the front lines.
She is the daughter of Ares.
Yes, but it is a very Roman attitude. It is the Romans who put their senior officers literally in the first line of battle. Like, and it's whenever a Roman general marches to the front line and fights with his men, that it's recorded.
Yeah, but yeah. So small choices. That entire conversation between Annabeth and Percy about small choices and about like how about the fate of Thalia and how Annabeth doesn't want the same to happen to Percy is pretty well done. Again, I think the best parts of these episodes have been the conversation between Percy and Annabeth.
It's the slow moments, the things that are missing from a lot of TV shows nowadays.
Yeah, and they are very nuanced. They are very.
Yeah, it's interesting. The writers of the show are very good character writers.
Yes, but that's the thing.
Very bad at the big set pieces.
Yes, but that's the thing. This is exactly why what happens in the next episode and the episode after just sort of feels like a very big escalation, which we'll get to. But anyway, so that entire conversation is pretty well done. Another conversation that is that's very influential in the long run is between Percy and Clarice about the prophecy. Because that basically sparks the friendship between them that will continue throughout the day. Yeah,
this conversation is very much we can't do the short story.
Yeah, we can't do that.
So we need to do that character development here.
So it shows that there is mutual trust between them, even if it's friendly rivalry. There's some trust going on. Anyway, so Clarice trusting Percy with the prophecy, and then Percy uses it against her later on. That's a major thing that he in a way breaks the trust, but like again by giving her the fleece and letting her go sort of
he does that for good reasons.
Yeah. I'm not saying that
And it does set up the logical split where we need a Percy-Luke interaction, and well, the best warrior available is Clarice. So, but
Anyway,
what we also get here is Percy is powerful,
Percy's powerful, yeah.
but he's not all powerful.
But he is not currently this powerful.
Yeah, and it's very fun. It's a bit difficult to believe they survived the disintegration of the ship like this.
And that is exactly where my issues with this.
And we skip straight to episode 5, where it's like, oh, they survived. Oh, they split up now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so episode 5, after the disintegration, where Percy basically accepts his fate, sees up into the vortex, and sees all of his friends seemingly die. So he accepts
the last
his fate.
being Annabeth.
Mm-hmm. So he sort of accepts his fate, and then episode 5, we check into Cece's spa and resort. We cut to them being safe. We don't see how Percy and Annabeth got together. We don't really see how.
No, that's the thing. We should have seen the arrival on the island in one of the lifeboats.
Or one of the end scenes of the last episode could have been Percy sort of holding on to Annabeth. That's it. Even that would have been way better than what we got. So,
yeah, show him using his water powers. Instead of holding onto what little remains of the ship, he releases and uses the water of the vortex to grab hold of Annabeth and bring her towards him.
Yes. So
because Percy already thinks at this moment, even that Tyson is dead and Clarice is lost.
Yes. So that jump cut from being basically in the mouths of death to seemingly safe out of nowhere is very bizarre. Which we'll also see in the next season, going from how we ended, and I don't think we'll get an aftermath of that. We'll just cut.
No, we'll get to that in a bit. I have an idea of how they could have fixed it.
Okay,
but yeah, Cersei Spa, pretty much everything that happens at Percy's at Cersei Spa is fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Cersei's written as genuine. But still, she is the witch that turns people into animals.
She is genuine, but she is genuinely bad.
But also, she genuinely also doesn't see herself as bad.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. She does not believe she's the villain of the story.
Yeah, and that's we have seen that being a case from the first season as well with Medusa, how they changed Medusa and how they sort of brought other elements into her story. And yes, she ends up being the villain, but she is the sympathetic villain, kind of. Like we also have the unsympathetic.
I think she would have remained sympathetic if she hadn't recalled the wax.
Cersei, yeah.
In the show, she would have remained sympathetic if she hadn't recalled the wax. Yeah. Like turning Percy with an animal is very clearly I'd say a fair response, almost. But her recalling the wax is just a dick move.
Yeah, and we'll get to it, how that affects the entire silent scene, and how I think I don't like how they did it.
It works if you turn it upside down a little bit, but you have to do it yourself instead of the show doing it.
Exactly, you have to basically headcanon what happened.
But we'll get to it.
Anyway, so Cersei's Island, amazing. We see Hilla, fantastic.
Do you want to run into a rant about the Odyssey film? Because the costuming is a lot better in this stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely the best looking episode of the
clothing
season.
that Percy and Annabeth wear are regal clothing. The type of clothing the Queen of Ithaca should be wearing.
And they don't have much color. They're genuinely just white.
It's gold and white.
Yeah, it's gold and white. So it's not like there's enough vibrance, like enough like there's every color sort of popping out everywhere. No, it's just white with a blue sachet, and that's it. And it looks incredible.
Yeah, I'm gonna quickly go to the episode. Nope, that's the wrong one. And I'm gonna turn the audio off. Yeah. The Greek guy with the Greek armor, the proper Greek armor, that because he was wearing red, I thought might be a Roman, which would have been a very nice way of doing that. But no, he's just a Spartan, I think. That armor is the best Greek armor we've seen in the show.
Yeah, I mean it's a Greek warrior, so you'd expect it to look
somewhat fantasy.
Yeah,
but it works, and it looks more realistic. than whatever the fuck Agamemnon is wearing in the film.
He's Batman in the film.
Also, did notice a flaw with the post-credit scene at the end of the season.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
But yeah, so we see the whatever his name is, I forgot his name. We see him try his luck and going past the sirens and promptly gets devoured. like it's a total.
Yeah, it works.
We see it on screen. His blood.
And this is where we get to a very good adaptational difference.
Yes.
Because we weren't sure originally how they were going to do Cersei and the Sirens.
Mm-hmm.
This was one of the areas where we were struggling to figure out how they were going to do it pacing-wise.
Yeah.
Because we kind of figured this had to be the same episode.
Yeah. Especially given how few episodes are there. Yeah.
So they just combine it.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah.
And Cersei is running an MLM, trying to help people sort of pass.
She's effectively giving them therapy without an endpoint.
Yeah.
There is an endpoint, but it's super hard to reach.
See, that's the thing. I would call it purgatory. But
it is in a way purgatory. Hey, we already got a better depiction of the underworld here than we had in season 1.
But yeah,
admittedly, it's the Christian underworld, but you know.
Yeah, so it's basically purgatory, with them sort of staying there forever, hoping to achieve something while not really doing so. And Percy, this is when sort of Cersei starts deconstructing Percy and Annabeth and seeing like bringing out their fatal flaws. Basically reminding them of their fatal flaws.
And what I like is that instead, because she doesn't have as much of a hatred of men in this, which works a bit better, because it allows the Percy thing to be, instead of being like tricking him into becoming a guinea pig, it being like, that means let us see what your fatal flaw is. It's loyalty. Without outright spelling out that it is loyalty.
I mean, she pretty much says it.
The word loyalty is not mentioned, and Percy clearly does not realize what it is.
Yeah, and
Annabeth probably does. Percy doesn't, which means we can keep the reveal of it being loyalty with Athena.
Yeah. So that happens. Percy sees the vision of Tyson basically dying again, and he gets rattled, which is where we get the line that I initially had quite a bit of issues with, but I have since mellowed out, of I would burn the world for you. See, I would have had less issues had it been I would let the world burn for you.
But I think it works perfectly well in the moment.
In the moment, I would burn the world for you. It's fine.
Because at this point, because it comes from what Percy has left at this point.
Yes, but that's the thing. It's the what is it called? It's the active voice.
Yeah, for you it's the act. For me, it's just like, no, this makes perfect sense in the moment. Yeah. It's he thinks Tyson is dead. Grover is just about dead. He thinks Clarice is dead. And at camp, he's not trusted.
Yeah. So the only one
he thinks Annabeth is the only person he has left.
Other than Sally, but yes.
In the mythological world. And we see this with how he's immediately willing to sacrifice himself to help Annabeth.
Yeah, he goes to Cersei and he asks Cersei to basically help Annabeth pass the sirens. And he figures out what Cersei is doing. And so he tries to blackmail Cersei, but Cersei is Cersei.
Again, another show of Percy isn't completely stupid.
Yeah, he's not completely stupid, but he's also not completely aware of his surroundings, because you see Cersei like on screen, basically performing the act of turning Percy into guinea pig. She's setting it up for a long time, and Percy doesn't realize what is happening. And that's when Percy gets turned into a guinea pig with curly hair, by the way.
A guinea pig with curly hair, and very funny interaction with Blackbeard, where we get some actual pirate music involved.
Yeah, that is very funny. So
I like how the guinea pigs have their own hierarchy. Because
with
of
Edward.
course they do.
Yeah, with Edward on the top. But yeah, so Annabeth comes back and she realizes what has happened because of Percy bending the water, technically.
Yes, I like that they keep that Percy, when he's angry, uses his powers, or when he's desperate, he uses his powers. So they use that to show that he's the kid. I think it's better than the book.
It's definitely better.
Because in the book, it's very much well, we need Percy back somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I never realized.
But then we get to what I do think is a flaw of the episode, which is when. Oh, what do you want to say?
Before we. Annabeth, while sort of talking about Percy to Cersei, interesting line. But she talks about Sally, that she doesn't like if anyone takes Percy away from Sally. She doesn't say herself. She says Sally, which is very interesting. That I don't think we have seen Sally and Annabeth interact until this point. We only see that later on.
She knows how much Percy cares about Sally. Yeah. The relationship between Percy and Annabeth is pretty much. Yeah, no, these are going to be dating soon. The problem is Percy is blind as a bat.
Yeah, pretty much. So that is a very good moment and shows that Annabeth genuinely cares about about the things that Percy cares about. Anyway,
yeah,
what were we gonna say?
Then we get to the pirates are now human again and they start ravaging. Unlike in the book, where it's very much implied they start destroying the place. Here they're only interested in Cersei, and later on it's revealed that everything's fine.
Yeah, that.
And this is where I don't like what they've done, is that you introduce Hilla, a character who might reappear in the later books, because in the post-credit scene of the season,
everything is fine. Yeah.
She is still there. She should not have been there. Just remove her.
Also, you could have done that.
Completely different person in that outfit. Make it so that Cersei acts like nothing has changed, but she's just lost her assistant. No explanation. Keep that around.
Yeah. You could initially show like Hilla being sort of. No, it would focus way too much on Hilla.
We don't need. You don't focus on it. You just have Hilla not being there in the post-credit scene.
Yeah, I think that's a better way to do it. Yeah.
Like, they're not gonna do a live-action Heroes of Olympus with these actors.
I hope not.
But it's like, would be a nice nod to book readers if she wasn't there at the end.
Yeah.
She is there at the end.
She's there at the end.
Like, it's not important in the grand scheme of things. It's just disappointing from an adaptation standpoint.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's mostly because we know the second series, and so it's if you didn't know the second series,
still, it would have been a fun nod. That's the thing. It wouldn't be anything big. It would just be a nod to book readers.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, that's when we sort of get to Percy and Annabeth escaping. Not in the Blackbeard's ship this time, in a very tiny.
No, because budget. This is a justifiable avoidance of budget issues.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't really care. But it's funny. They have another heart-to-heart. No, but that happens in the end. But yeah, so
they have the wax. Their plan is pretty similar to how it is. However, it's flipped.
Yeah.
Which does work a bit better.
Yeah, in the moment it works better, but as we will see, Percy gets tied up. They only have wax for one person. Annabeth goes to use it, but it gets snatched.
And then Cersei proves to be a dickhead.
Yeah, she gets
and it's like all our sympathy for Cersei vanishes in that moment.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, we didn't need that. What you could have done is just keep it the way it is in the book and have the dagger be the thing that she escapes with. And Percy's like, shh. And just have, if you want to make it so that Percy can't immediately go after her, Percy needs to avoid some rocks with the boat.
Yeah.
Like, Percy tries to follow, but then realizes he can't because there's rocks in the way.
Yeah.
And it's then that we see him reach for the rope.
But that a very interesting change from the books that Annabeth sees a very different vision, one that is more appropriate for the show. In my opinion,
it's more personal.
It's more personal, yeah.
However, I agree with you that in season 1 this wasn't an issue.
Mm-hmm.
By avoiding it for 2 seasons, you've just removed the climax of the book series.
Yes, in a way, definitely. So
because where the hell is Annabeth's architecture obsession?
Mm-hmm.
She's supposed to become the architect of Olympus.
Yeah.
That is her reward for the war. You do need to set that up.
Yeah.
And she's not in much of book 3, so now you're stuck with season 4 to do that. And there's not much to admire there.
Yeah, underground in season 4.
Yeah. The big thing is that Annabeth can tell when it changes from time period.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not setting up her love of architecture to justify it.
No. I think they'll probably explore it in the 4th book, because that is Annabeth's prophecy book.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, not having it this early on is somewhat irritating. Anyway, so what they do is pretty good, though. They initially it's basically a dream within a dream sequence, with initially her desire being the uniting basically Percy and Luke back, but she quickly realizes that they are using it, and
yes, because it's very it is obvious.
It's very obvious, and
then we get to she thinks she's out of it,
mm-hmm.
and then Athena comes in to rescue her.
Yeah.
And I could immediately tell it was a vision.
Yeah.
Because Athena's not allowed to intervene.
Yeah. So I could as well, but I've seen so many people trip up on that scene, especially like even the book readers.
Because they've not really implicitly said the gods can't do this.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was very obvious. Also, the sirens are not supposed to be a defeatable threat.
Yeah.
They are incredibly hard to escape.
Mm-hmm.
And you cannot defeat them.
No. And they trick you. And that's exactly what happens with Annabeth. They trick Annabeth.
Tricking Annabeth into having Athena say exactly what she wants.
Exactly. Yes. And this is where one of my gripes with the show comes. Like, one of my first real gripes with the show comes about. Why did Percy not feel the Siren's song?
Yeah, and here it would have worked better if it's like Percy would have heard, because she clearly only starts feeling the effect of the siren if you are very close to the island.
Yes, but
you can see this. You approach them and you are diverted by their first goal, which is fully focused on Annabeth, because she's the free one. Then when you're on the island, you're in their trap already.
Yes.
And you could easily go with their focus was on Annabeth, and they are not infinitely powerful, and cannot just extend their influence willy-nilly. That is one of the issues with only having 3 sirens.
Yes, but that is another place where headcanon comes in.
And that's the issue. It's a headcanon issue.
Yes.
Because Percy should have absolutely seen something, which is why it would have been better if he had the wax. Have it be that some stuff can come through the wax. It's not foolproof.
In the book,
and then they use the one thing the Sirens think can get through, which is Annabeth. Instead, Percy is magically able to shield himself because the Sirens only used Annabeth.
And how they explain it is Percy basically says, "Yeah, you were shielding me to Annabeth. That's it. That's the heart to heart that happens between them, and it's a good heart to heart, but it makes no sense."
Yeah.
So that's where, like, this is the 5th episode where we are having a Percy and Annabeth one-on-one. Well, 4th episode. Which, yes, conversations are needed, but you also need to establish other things. And having too many conversations is where the next episodes and the episodes after issues come in. Because until now, we have the escalation in next episode. Let's get to the next episode, which is episode 6. Nobody gets the fleece.
Which, despite the battle episode being pretty. I'd say this is the worst episode.
Yeah, this nothing
And
happens.
it's because
in this
it's
episode.
not because we learn in episode 5 that Polyphemus is actually smart. Good. We don't have the 15 million dumb major monster because in the books most of the major monsters that are supposed to be monsters outright are dumb.
Yes, true.
The Minotaur is incredibly dumb.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a bull. It's a charging bull.
The Nemean lion
need to be.
is just a lion.
Mm-hmm.
The Chimera is just a wild animal.
Mm-hmm.
Polyphemus in the book is very much akin to those more than he's akin to Circe or Medusa.
Yeah.
But they don't do anything with his intelligence because, like, oh, it's a trick. Okay, where did he get the materials for this trick?
Yeah.
There's only so much that can wash ashore, and apparently he has gold paint wash ashore.
Gold glittery paint, not just gold paint.
Yeah, it's like okay, but then we get like into the budget issues. And, like, the island is supposed to be insanely lush.
Yeah, and you
Like,
can argue that it's because he takes away the fleece, but we don't even see it lush.
No, because we never see. When we see
when Clarice lands on the island.
Yeah, when Clarice lands, the trick can't have happened yet,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
still barren. Yeah.
It doesn't even look. It looks somewhat Mediterranean.
Yeah, I would say a bit Mediterranean.
But then the tree is a Cuban tree.
Yeah, it
felt a bit like okay. I know everything has been moved to the Americas, but why specifically a tree from Cuba? Just make it an oak. Make it that Polyphemus is defiling a symbol of Zeus.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a Cuban oak, but you can have other kinds of oak, not Cuban.
Yeah, but the problem is, it's a Cuban. Why? Why is it a Cuban oak? Just because that's the one tree you managed to get in Canada for some reason?
Yeah.
Like, just make it a regular oak, which is a symbol of Zeus. The Cuban oak might be an oak, but that does not make it a symbol of Zeus.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, so another dumb thing that happens in this episode is Luke shows up, which pretty much telegraphs.
Yeah, which telegraphs immediately. Oh no.
Yeah, it telegraphs immediately what's gonna happen, but the way it happens is still dumb in my opinion.
Rushed.
It's very rushed.
Not that it's bad.
It's not that it's bad.
That it's
just
rushed.
rushed. Yeah, it's very rushed. So
we also get, I don't agree with your thing that Polyphemus' blindness is just somebody with poor eyesight. That's not completely inaccurate. Polyphemus in the book has some ability to see.
Yeah, fair.
It's just his ability to see is a lot more than he should be seeing.
Yeah, it's basically someone with like a very poor eyesight, and he's very equivalent to that. But anyway,
yeah,
it's not a big deal.
It's like this would have been. He's supposed to be very poor of sight.
Mm-hmm.
You could just have it be that he can see very little through like a pinhole or something.
Clouded. You can make
he's
clouded.
I think the thing is that they did this. The team that was tasked with making this shots from his viewpoint did not know how to do this.
Yeah.
So they just went blurry.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah.
The way Annabeth and Percy infiltrate, yeah, pretty much
very
akin
funny
to what it should be.
Yeah.
But then they ruin it by not having them walk into the cave with the sheep. But the whole thing is
why? Yeah, basically why.
The whole story of the Sea of Mons is supposed to mirror Odysseus.
I think we talked about it in the first season where they don't really stick to the mythological tales and they are making their own endings.
But it gets a little annoying when this book is explicitly the Odyssey but Percy Jackson.
Pretty much.
It is pretty much only missing Calypso.
Yeah.
And the Lotus Eaters. That is about it.
Yeah. Also, Polyphemus has like 5 sheep. Why?
Yeah, and everything is a little too convenient.
Yeah, it's a very convenient.
And we've used that word a lot in the last few recordings we've done.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to that eventually.
Anyway, so that happens. there's an implication in when
That is bad. You might call it interesting. I call it bad.
Interesting
And
can be
it's
both
that
bad,
Pan
interesting, and good. Interesting.
deliberately left the fleece on Polyphemus' island.
Mm-hmm.
That does not make any sense.
Especially like we know where he is found later on, and that's nowhere near the
No, but that's yeah, and it's like Pan doesn't want to be found, so he puts the one thing that might lead towards him as far away as possible from him. But he would not leave it in a place where his satyrs can get eaten.
Yeah, exactly.
Why did you leave it on the island with the guy who likes sheep? He likes mutton. Satyrs aren't that different.
No.
They are goats.
Yeah, and he basically has his trophies in the form of skulls of all the satyrs he has killed.
Yeah, which, by the way, would have been a perfect moment to have Grover have an emotional moment.
And it's so creepy, but it doesn't add anything.
But it would be a perfect emotional moment for Grover to find his father.
Yeah, could be.
We already have that in the book. In Medusa's lair, he finds his uncle. But we don't know. We don't know what happened to his father. You could easily go with, at least my father went this far.
Yeah.
Like, show that his father managed to get very far in the trip.
Yeah. I don't know why.
It would be dark, insanely dark.
It already
but
is
we've
dark.
Seen dark before.
And it's already pretty dark portrayal of him copying the voices of satyrs he has eaten. So it's not like it's shying away from the implications.
It could even be that he doesn't find the skeleton. It could just be Polyphemus outright saying it.
Or Polyphemus can just imitate
use
the voice.
His father's voice.
Yeah, that's it.
Like and be that what's the shocking thing with what Polyphemus reveals in episode 5. Not Percy's voice, Grover's father's voice. Like he switches from Percy to Grover's father, and that is when Grover is,
Yeah. Anyway, so they get trapped. Percy falls in the arms of Clarice, which is very funny.
Yeah, great. Yeah, perfect.
Grover finds the original fleece, which is conveniently tucked behind the corner.
Tucked behind the corner in the only luscious pot in the entire fucking island.
What?
Which, that leaves the implication that Polyphemus had the fleece there from the beginning.
Also, it shows that Polyphemus is dumb then. Like, what?
They don't do anything with Polyphemus being smart.
No, not at all.
Because when
the only thing that happens...
When you watched the episode 5, and we learned he's smart, we went, oh, that's an implication.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Oh, they don't do anything with it.
Yeah, the only thing that happens is he has a conversation with Tyson, which is the same conversation that happens in the book. You don't need a smart Polyphemus for that. Like...
Yeah, and then Tyson kills Polyphemus.
That's very much implied, yes.
I don't think it's even implied. That's pretty much what happens. They fall off the cliff, and Tyson is the only one who returns.
And Tyson says he won't bother anyone anymore. Like,
he's dead. Whereas in the book, Polyphemus is left alive. It's a very important character choice from Percy.
I mean, we have seen Percy make such character choices until now, so it makes sense to give it to Tyson. But killing him?
Yeah. And it's like, why? Polyphemus was the first monster they've left alive. Like, think about it.
Yeah.
Polyphemus is the first hostile monster left alive in the series. Like, Medusa, dead. Chimera wasn't killed, but wasn't killable to begin with.
It's the choice that matters. It's the first monster that...
It's the conscious choice of Percy to show mercy. Is that, and then that's repaid by Polyphemus showing not all monsters are good.
Yeah, like it contrasts with Medusa and Circe in a very nice way.
But the choice is gone.
Anyway,
And then we get to
my least liked part of
rushed.
my least liked part. Well, one of my least liked parts of this season, which is that it's very rushed. What happens?
It is what makes this episode the worst of the season.
Mm-hmm. It's not that it's a bad choice. We know Percy would make that choice every single time.
It's that it is rushed.
It's rushed.
It's like the end of a Sanderson book.
Pretty much.
it is everything happens too quickly, and yet everything to do with Percy's rage happens too quickly.
Mm-hmm. Like as we said, Percy and Annabeth throughout the last 5 chapters have been having like these one-on-one moments that are very nuanced and very mellowed, and very very enlightening for both of them. The only moment of like Percy losing control that we see is in the previous episode when she shows when Percy sort of says that I would burn the world for you, and that is foreshadowing this. I know that, but it happens way too fast.
It's that we don't have anything in this episode that leads to it.
Mm-hmm.
If we had some sign of it in this episode, but like the whole plot of infiltrating the cave, it doesn't matter.
But yeah,
it's all we had very little budget for this episode.
Yeah, we want to make a bottle episode, but how to make a bottle episode? Well, let's trap them in a cave.
Yeah, next episode is also pretty much a bottle episode. Using almost exclusively existing sets. Very few characters.
Anyway, so that's again.
But
it's,
yeah,
it's
we end
annoying.
the episodes with the with Rainbow and Fred. Oh, they don't appear.
No,
they're gone by the beginning of the next episode. Like,
yeah.
Wow, you can really tell they were running out of CGI budget at this point.
Yeah, they basically exhausted all of it on the Andromeda set and on the Cersei's Island.
They used on the Andromeda,
Cersei's Island,
the Ironclad, Cersei set, and the Chariot Racing.
Mm-hmm.
Problem with that is that doesn't leave much for the end of the season.
Yeah, and all of these 3 episodes, 6, 7, and 8, are basically nothing. They have no news thing.
8 is just messy.
It is way too messy, and we'll get to
7, yeah, we got a few good things.
7, yeah, like, I go down with the
ship. It really starts with, this is not the right title.
Yeah, because neither does Percy go down, nor does the ship. Why are you naming it I go down with the ship?
Yeah, they don't.
They
don't go down with the ship. Because my big fear, when I saw that they were not going with the ship, like the little boat, I was like, they are not destroying the Andromeda, right?
No. And
like, that would have completely blown apart the book series.
Yeah.
But also, I just checked what name would have been better. And that's the issue.
There's no name that's better. It's a completely new episode.
Because the other one that we get a surprise on Miami Beach. They're not in Miami. They're on the north shore of Long Island already again. And the other is the party ponies invade.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. This is a completely new episode.
No good because they've thrown a wrecking ball through the end of the plot of the book.
Anyway,
what they should have done was do it in Miami. Do similar to what they do here. Then have Clarice escape on Blackjack. And then have Chiron and the party ponies arrive after that. That is how they get back to camp. And then the entirety of episode 8 could be Aftermath.
Budget.
Because
they don't have the budget for it.
This show needs to breathe.
They don't have the budget for party ponies.
No, that's very obvious. But it's like, well, if you don't do the battle, you have the budget.
Yeah, the battle is very unnecessary, and
the battle is unnecessary.
We'll get
and like most of this episode would be pretty much fine if it didn't lead into the issues with episode 8.
Yeah.
But like the whole thing of Thalia coming back, knowing Thalia will come back, I mean, that's pretty much implied that was Kronos' plan anyway.
Yeah. So it's fine,
It's fine.
but it doesn't
Percy,
lead to anything. That's the
Kronos
problem.
trying to tell Percy the prophecy
Mm-hmm.
works because Percy stops listening before the key lines.
Yeah.
As the viewer, we hear one more line, but Percy has already stopped paying attention, which means Percy knows the two first lines,
Which he already knew from like earlier.
which he knew from Annabeth.
Mm-hmm. So
Like the great prophecy lines that Percy knows.
a great child of Elder 3 will pass
And
16.
half plus of the eldest gods shall reach 16 against the odds, and see the world and the sleep. The heroes, he sees and see the world and the sleep, and that is pretty much where Percy stops listening.
Yeah.
So he's heard half the prophecy, and see the world and the sleep means nothing without the context.
Yeah.
And we hear the hero's soul cursed blade, and that's when Percy cuts it off. Percy is not listening to it.
Yeah,
he has not heard the hero's soul. He does not think the hero's blade, the hero's soul cursed blade shall reap.
So yeah, he doesn't know about the hero's soul or the cursed blade.
And even then, Percy would be willing to accept that part. Because we know that from his willing to self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
It is the last two lines that kill, that make Percy fear the most. A single choice shall end his days, Olympus to preserve or raise. It is those two that have to be kept secret.
Yeah. Anyway, so that entire scene is pretty good. The one thing that happens is Percy has Annabeth's cap, and it gets left behind in the admin room.
And then they do nothing with it, and
I
Annabeth doesn't
think
even make a mention of it. It's coming back at the beginning of next season,
coming
because
back
that is how Luke will try to convince Annabeth to join him. But there should have been a mention of it.
I think they lingered on it long enough that it doesn't need to mention
the characters need to discuss this.
Annabeth needs to mention it, or Percy needs to mention it.
Annabeth doesn't question where it went. It is her it is the only thing she's ever gotten from her mother.
And we see, like, one of her greatest desire is to be accepted by her mother.
Yeah, now we get into the issues of episode 8, and it's massive issues.
Episode 7
and it's still not the worst episode of the season, because most of it is the consequences of the previous episodes.
Yeah, episode 7, it ends with Clarice escaping on Blackjack.
Blackjack and doesn't speak in his beloved New York accent.
But yeah, and Percy and the gang escapes with Sally in the blue Prius, which is a nice nod.
We just Paul's Prius. That is a very good way. That's what I mean. They are willing to throw a bone to book readers. And but we see issues with the episode completely with the ship's empty. They deliberately remove everyone from the ship by having them dock in a tiny port in Long Island.
Why? Who knows?
Why? When last we saw Luke, he was in a sailboat heading north from the Bermuda Triangle. That's why the ship was in the reason Andromeda was docked in Miami was because that was the closest they could get to the Sea of Monsters without entering the Sea of Monsters.
Yeah.
Like, we don't get a sense of time.
This is another time skip that makes no sense.
We don't know how long it's been, but hippocampi are not as fast as a freaking Pegasus.
I mean, he doesn't have a Pegasus, but yeah, it's fine.
No, but that's the thing. They should have got up with Luke aboard that small ship. Like, just have it be they catch up with Luke on that small ship. They have a fight there, and then the Andromeda shows up, and they get onto the Andromeda, and Percy stays on the ship a little too long, and that haha is the title.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that would have worked. And then the Andromeda sails to Miami whilst they're on board the ship. Like, you can work with this and just don't do a battle.
That battle is completely unnecessary. Like, that
it destroys the importance of book 4.
When I saw that battle in the trailer, and both of us discussed how that battle can give us sort of a moment of interaction between Luke and Thalia that we don't really get.
It would have worked if it was a skirmish outside of the barrier.
Yeah.
But it takes place inside the barrier because all the hostile demigods are able to enter through there. And apparently can still give permission for the Lystragonians to come through. So why does Luke need the labyrinth? Why does Luke need the labyrinth now?
Who knows?
That's a genuine question. He needs the labyrinth because he needs to get his army into camp. But clearly, he can get his army into camp.
Yeah. Anyway, the main excitement of this battle for me was the fact that we would get Luke and Thalia sort of interaction.
Yeah, that would have been a very good way of doing it because we needed to see the reaction. But, I mean, you've written out probably the longest section on this episode, but honestly, we don't really discuss much.
Because there's nothing to discuss.
Most of it's just dumb and poorly written. Character moments are written poorly. Grover and Annabeth do nothing. Like, you have an opportunity with Annabeth injured that Annabeth devises strategy to win this battle.
Yeah.
But we don't get mention of it.
Uphill.
Yeah, but like Percy making his speech to the campus is good. It shows Percy leaning into a leadership role. That's a good moment in this episode. A good moment in this episode is seeing that a lot of the campus are in the big house, but the youngest campus are next to Dionysus.
Yeah, because he's comforting them even in his own...
Dionysus is doing what little he can. Dionysus is not allowed to help assist in the defense of camp. But he's protecting these children by keeping them as close as he can to him. And it is my belief in the books and in that if worse came to worse, Dionysus would break the laws.
Probably, yeah.
If it came to it, Dionysus would get the youngest out.
Next book, he pretty much breaks the law. Like gets very close to breaking the law.
He gets very close by trying to stop Percy.
And not just stop Percy. When he helps them at the beach.
To be fair, there is an offering involved.
Yes, fair, but
like there is an actual offering involved, and that's another thing that's like currently missing is that because we don't see the whole tricking like Luke into calling on Dionysus at camp.
Exactly.
We miss the reveal of Luke being a traitor outright to camp.
Yes. So that at this point the camp just believes in Percy and Annabeth.
Yeah, despite the fact that in the beginning of the season they don't like Percy.
How is Percy gaining the trust of the camp so easily when at the beginning they basically asked him to shut up and sit down when he
but also like that they now believe like Luke is a traitor. That makes sense because they also have the word of Annabeth, Clarice
as well, probably.
Oh no, in season 1, they had both Percy and Annabeth, and Annabeth is the oldest camper there, the longest serving camper there, and a cabin counselor.
Yeah.
But we do lose out on a very funny scene, and that's where Tantalus was originally going to die.
It's fine.
Like go back to the underworld.
Yeah, it's fine.
Because he's dismissed.
Yeah.
Because his services are no longer needed. Because now Chiron returning also doesn't make sense.
Why?
Because they don't clear Chiron's name.
Yeah. Why would Zeus lift Chiron's
exile? But in this version, it's explicitly because of him being a son of Kronos. Which, again, is Zeus's paranoia, except in the last season, he did not show this level of paranoia about it.
Yeah.
He knew immediately, war is coming, this is serious.
I was watching a video by Magic by Michaela. She does Percy Jackson content. And she was talking to, I think, another person who visited the set, and they were talking about how the people in the writer room are very anti-Zeus, which
It is very obvious, but it doesn't make sense with how he was portrayed in the last season.
and it might be a joke. I don't really care.
Because
What I do care
because
is how it's portrayed. Yeah, here.
yeah, but in the first season, he's very much like, I know war is coming, but you're a petulant child.
Mm-hmm.
Like Zeus is wet. Like in the book, he denies everything. That's where his paranoia is coming from. But in
Yeah.
the interaction in season 1, he's not denying that Kronos is returning. He has stirred often enough, and this was inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
And now also Annabeth outright already calls it a war.
Yeah.
But in the book, it's not a war yet.
No. And the biggest issue with this entire battle scene, but the one we haven't even discussed yet, is the sanctity of the camp is broken already.
Yeah. And clearly kids have died now.
Katie! Not Gardner.
Not
Katie.
Not Katie Gardner, a character from the book. You named the character Katie without her being Katie Gardner. That's a bad choice of character.
She gets stabbed, and we don't get a status
and
update
finished,
of her.
And Chris basically says, like, finish them off.
Yeah.
It's like, so that's at least 5 campus. That's the thing. We don't have an aftermath.
This entire episode should have been
I told you earlier
build up to Talia's return.
But I told you this earlier today. It's like book 3 has the exact same time moment as book 4 of Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
A character dies. It's the first time a character outright dies. And Percy Jackson upset by killing 2.
Yeah.
One of whom is 12.
Yeah.
And the other is thousands of years old, but with an incredible backstory, who we've come to love and trust.
Yeah.
Then book 4 is the Luke is trying to attack camp. That is what the entire plot is about. We need to stop Luke from attacking camp. Yeah. And if we cannot stop him from attacking camp, we must defend camp. So let us prepare our defenses. And then camp gets broken into. And that's now gone. Luke has already gotten into camp. He's already killed campers. On top of that, why would Luke get any defections now?
Yeah.
Like, he just had traitors in the camp.
And if Serena were here, you don't see her. Why would she support Luke now, seeing that demigods are dying? That was her entire point.
Luke has just outright personally attacked the demigods he's trying to recruit. He wouldn't do that. He only does that when they are certain of Kronos' return. Like, when the attack on camp only happens when Kronos is inside Luke's body. Despite the fact that Luke already had access to camp at that point.
Yeah.
Luke could have attacked before Kronos took his body. He doesn't. And it's like, that doesn't work.
Yeah, it's not even the only mistake of this episode.
You mean the fact that apparently Kronos had 4 sons now? Because apparently Hephaestus is Poseidon's brother!
I think you mentioned that it might be an ADR. But even in
ADR or line cutting and splicing, because it feels very weird. The moment Poseidon says that he's like my brother Hephaestus, we're watching from over Poseidon's shoulder. So that is very odd editing.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, that's fine. That's a minor issue in like.
It's a minor issue, but it's weird that it didn't get caught.
Mm-hmm. What this entire episode should have been is the calm before the storm. The storm being Thalia's return.
Yeah, that's the entire. It's an issue that, honest to God, Game of Thrones didn't have in its first seasons. The big episode was always the penultimate episode of the season.
Last episode was
and
always...
that allows you to do the last episode to be an aftermath, a calming down, or an escalation for the next season.
Mm-hmm.
But we have very little time here to do aftermath work. And it's funny to get a callback to the you drool when you sleep. That's cute.
I don't know, it took me out, that entire line. Yes,
it did, because it doesn't fit with the tone of the episode.
Yes, it doesn't.
But it is a cute callback.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get the Thalia Zeus plotline where, okay, I know Zeus is supposed to be a dick, but he's not evil.
Yeah, he's not evil. That's the entire difference between Titans
and I am fully
gods.
He would never do this in person.
No.
This is where Hermes would come in.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can still have the Zeus uses his lightning bolt or something. Do it something, but considering Hermes is also supposed to be the messenger to the underworld, he's the perfect person to talk to the Furies.
Yeah.
So have it be Thalia as a stand-off with the Furies, no Hellhounds again, despite the fact that she's torn apart by Hellhounds, normally. Have Hermes come in with the message from Zeus, telling the Furies to back off.
Mm-hmm.
The Furies refuse. And basically Hermes like, I cannot intervene, but if you do this, Zeus will punish you. Mm-hmm. And Thalia responds badly to that. And then she starts insulting Zeus. Have Hermes have a terrified look on his face because Thalia is insulting Zeus in a moment when Zeus has been called upon.
Yeah. And see, that what that would do is that would give us Thalia's interaction with another god that is not Zeus. And
it is the one god she already doesn't trust.
It's the one god she already doesn't trust, but it's also that she's not that antagonistic against the entire gods, just Zeus.
No,
that's the difference.
It's only Zeus. She's antagonistic towards Zoe, but not to Artemis.
Mm-hmm. But why would she join Artemis now?
Not. She just wouldn't.
Given she didn't trust gods, and then the king of gods, Zeus, shows up, and basically kills her or freezes her in time. Yeah. Same thing.
And I'm genuinely starting to think, why does Zeus kill his own children?
Nowhere. He weeps at the death of Sarpedon in Iliad. That is one of the best moments in the Iliad, entire Iliad. Like one of my favorite moments. And
like in the version, what is it? I can't remember which the older version of Hephaestus being thrown off Olympus. It's Hera, right?
It's Hera, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it was later attributed to Zeus, but it was Hera.
Probably, I don't remember exactly. I think it's Hesiod that mentions that, but I don't remember exactly.
But it's like Zeus doesn't kill his children. It's one of the few redeeming things he's got for himself.
Yeah.
Like the one time I can think of, I'm trying to think of a moment when Zeus or the gods directly intervened in a demigod. It's mostly Hera. Or it's the case of Bellerophon's hubris getting too much and him getting shot down before he gets to Olympus.
Cadmus also turning into snake.
Yeah. Was it at Ares?
One of the gods. I don't remember exactly who it was.
Because it had to do with the whole thing of him killing a creature of Ares or something.
Yeah. But yeah, why would she join Artemis at this point? Like, the gods are clearly not again for her. And the entire, I know why it is done. I know why the Thalia being brought back plot point was introduced. Like, why they know that Thalia is being brought back. It was to give Percy a bit of especially misinterpret his dream of Thalia being there with the dead crew dead camp members. But he would already do that, given Thalia's proximity with Luke.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Another way they could have done is have Luke attack the camp. Don't let them know that Thalia is coming back. Thalia comes back. Luke sees Thalia. Thalia sees Luke that Luke is attacking camp. and Annabeth in particular. Annabeth in particular. That's when she sort of.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we discussed that, but that already before episode 8 was released.
Why would she not join Luke currently? Just because Annabeth says yes, fine, but she hasn't seen.
No, because Luke retreats.
Yeah,
like Luke just vanishes.
Yeah, the entire point of the battle should have been that Thalia sees Luke. Otherwise, that battle is null and void. It does nothing to the plot.
Yeah.
It's a change for change's sake, which is what I don't like. If you're making a change, at least have it say something, have it add.
Yeah, and if it's because because the writers room is extremely anti-Zeus,
that is just a dumb.
Then why are you writing a show where Zeus is supposed to be the leader of the gods? You are not writing a show where Zeus is the bad guy.
No.
Zeus is not the antagonist. He's an antagonistic force at times. But even then, really not heavily. He is a little bit in book 3.
This makes...
And even then, it's mostly Athena pushing for the death penalty.
Yes, and this makes the entire council scene that would happen in the next season.
Yeah, it's Zeus who offers to help Thalia because he does clearly feel affection for Thalia. And then then Artemis is basically, I would like to offer her. I would like to converse with you, Father. And Zeus is fully on board with Thalia becoming the leader of the hunters because he no longer has the weight on the shoulders of his daughter being the prophecy child.
Yeah. You had a very good setup for having a nuanced portrayal of gods, and you throw it away completely.
It's a shame.
And
it's a shame because this season was heading in a very good direction.
We made an episode praising the entire first 4 episodes, how good it was, how better than book it was. And then the next 4 episodes just go downhill.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a shame. That's really all. It's a shame.
I gave the previous season, I think, a 7 out of 10. This would have, based on just the first 4 episodes, this would have been a high 9 for me.
Even with 5 having the issue with at the end with
even with those,
that's still an 8.
9.
That's still an 8.5.
It's still 8.5. But the latter 3 episodes,
it's the exact same grade as last time, and I think I'm actually downgrading.
Yeah, you had an 8, I think, last season.
I had an 8 for the original season because it was only dragged down by the Underworld episode, in my opinion.
And this season is again...
It barely gets a 7 because of its ending.
I was not this angry at previous season. Previous season, I think, even if I'm giving it a 7...
The previous season, I just felt that the Underworld episode, this was just a case of, okay, these writers need to put down Dante.
Yeah. That's fine. The previous season had very small mistakes here and there. It didn't have egregious mistakes.
It kept the same plot.
It kept the same plot. It kept the similar themes. They have completely upended the themes of the book.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's also just like the death of Bianca and the death of Zoe are still going to be insanely impactful. And I really hope that because they no longer have to avoid the films, that we get a proper adaptation. But I've already seen behind the scenes stuff of season 3 that I'm not happy about.
I have not seen it enough to comment on it, but yeah.
Do you want to know one of the things I've apparently seen in one of the background shots?
Yeah.
One is the Nico actor being anywhere near the group when they're in DC.
Yeah, I think I saw
That's an odd thing. I've also seen reports of Clarice.
I think what I've heard is Nico gets... Percy sends Nico back with Clarice in that. But
that's weird.
Why introduce it?
Removes a big part of the promise. It's like, Nico isn't one to escape camp at this point.
Yeah, because he trusts Percy at this point. Why would he go there?
We'll have to see what happens. But if it's like, oh yeah, Percy calls on Clarice to come pick up this little kid.
Yeah. Anyway, so
you have to give a reason for Clarice to be in the area. Clarice is supposed to be in Arizona or New Mexico.
Yeah. So
Clarice is investigating the labyrinth.
We'll talk about it when we get to the next season. But
We'll get a trailer by the midpoint of the year because the show is coming out at the end of the year. So hey, finally a return to yearly shows. If only some other fantasy shows could do that. House of the Dragon.
Anyway, but yeah, with a very disheartening 7 out of 10.
And the fact that I'm, for a rare case of me being giving the same grades to a show.
Yeah.
But that's because I have massive issues with the way the battle is portrayed anyway. Because I'm like a military history fanatic, so I like that kind of stuff, and I don't like what I'm seeing. I am now worried about everything.
Yeah. Anyway, so I hope they do better. I like Percy Jackson. I love Percy Jackson. I am always hesitant about adaptations anyway, because I'm not a big fan of any adaptation really.
Yeah, and it's also why like a TV show is already going to get more time than a film.
Mm-hmm.
But I think an animated show would have just worked better because it removes a lot of the budget constraints. It's the same reason I am deeply, deeply worried about the Mistborn film.
Yeah, that Mistborn film is also.
Like, look at how big this book is.
Yeah, it will be interesting how they.
It's hundreds of pages. Also, you can't do the epigraph stuff. You can't do the logbook in a film. So you're losing the entire backstory.
They would probably be exposition somewhere.
Yeah, great. A gigantic exposition dump from Sazed.
Anyway, we will talk about Mistborn adaptation at some point. But yeah. Well, that's been this episode.
Yeah.
Percy Jackson Season 2. We'll talk about more Percy Jackson at some point.
We'll probably make a video when the trailer for Season 3 comes out.
Yeah.
So we can speculate a bit, because we do love it. Like, we will continue. This show has not nearly burned us as much as Rings of Power has.
We gave it
Avatar The Last Airbender has.
We gave
Rings of Power those two shows are dog shit.
Yeah, and we gave like, what, 5 out of 10 for the Avatar?
Avatar got 5, I think.
Yeah. And
Rings of Power, I think 4. We gave up on grading.
Yeah, I think we get a 4 or 4.5, something like that. Anyway, but yeah,
I'm pretty sure the only thing we praised of Season 2 was the CGI.
Anyway, let's end this here. It's been.
You're cutting a bunch anyway. We'll continue going to chat anyway for another half hour probably. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
See you next time.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.